I was speaking with a pretty large global wealth management firm, and they're using localization capabilities with generative AI pretty interestingly. So in terms of huge trends, and especially with generative AI on the scene right now, one of the first things I would say is so many companies are, I'd say, starting with some of the low-hanging fruit. One of the first things, and it shouldn't be a surprise to most listeners here, is this notion around intelligent automation and the use of decision technology, right? So you have AI, which can sort of make or understand customer data at scale, and the other piece is around making decisions and then scaling that through how do you execute workflows, and so that notion around intelligent automation. The second thing I would say is this huge change in terms of how customer engagement that companies are having or customers want to have is much more conversational. And when I mean conversational, it's not just relegated again to the voice channel, right? Yes, of course, we're all familiar with that in a contact center. People want to have conversations, talk to somebody, talk to a human and get that response back. But it's also asynchronous conversations. Think about, requesting for support through a chat function or requesting for support through SMS on your mobile device. All of those are actually conversations. The important thing to remember about conversations is not the fact that something was sent and you get a response back, but the fact that it has continuity. If you get context right and you're maintaining continuity, not just within the life cycle of that particular journey, but across the life cycle of the customer, now you can start to have conversations. It's no different than having conversations with a friend from whom you met, 3 years ago, and then you pick up from where you left off. That's context, for example. The third thing I'll bring up is this notion around much more richer and deeper contextualization. I'll give you an example. It's things like localization and having multilingual capabilities. I was speaking with a pretty large global wealth management firm, and they're using localization capabilities with generative AI pretty interestingly. They use it in the customer service or support function, right? So for example, if you have your own native language, and because they're a global firm, they're present in many countries, so they can have a singular knowledge base or a singular support service process and be able to scale that out, because a customer, or even in different countries, a customer can ask a question in their own language. The system's able to translate that into English, reference that against a centralized knowledge base, or search against the right responses relevant to the context and to what the customer asked. And the response that's given back to the customer is then retranslated back into their native language. So there's about 17 different languages or 20 different languages, and I'm sure it's going to grow, but it's a start in terms of how that sort of personalization and the localization is being used in terms of AI capabilities is being used in making sure that it's addressing the specific needs and the specific outcomes that customers are looking for. The last thing I'd say is this notion around the knowledge base. So think about being able to pool all of the content resources across a company, but be able to serve that up with the right context based on how customers are searching for it. Now, in relation to this is this notion around AI-based search or GenAI-based search, where, say, for example, I'm trying to plan, and I think Walmart's doing this, right? Say I'm trying to plan a party for the Super Bowl. I don't need to search. Usually what customers search for, and if you're shopping right now, you'll say, I need some chips, I need some dip, I need some chicken wings, or things of that nature, or drinks, or soda, or so forth. In my mind, I know I need to plan a party, and I need some of these ingredients. But on the flip side, I can also go and say, I don't have the ability, rather, right now at least, or maybe today I do, is to go and tell the system, I'm having a Super Bowl party, what do I need, right? And the system then recognizes a Super Bowl party is the goal that I'm looking for, and therefore what's needed, right? And it might be plates, it might be spoons, it might be napkins, all of those things that typically goes with a party. But that's just in terms of how you can use the knowledge base, how you can use generative AI, use customer goals, and then serve up the right responses and serve up the right products even, and help the customer sort of ease that friction in terms of how they go through that commerce transaction.